This is Obadiah. We are Change.org here in Tokyo, Japan, and I have a very important news announcement because from everything that I'm reading, from everything that I'm seeing, the U.S. hegemony, the U.S. foothold in the Middle East is completely over. Now, if you remember last week, we reported to you a very important meeting between the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, between General Joseph Dunford and the Iraqi Prime Minister. The Joint Chiefs of Staffs told the Iraqi government, you're either with us or you're with the Russians. Do not let the Russians conduct military activities within Iraq. Do not let them bomb your country. Do not let them go after ISIS in your country. If you do so, we will no longer participate with you. According to the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, the Iraqi government said, sure, we'll be with you. Now here is the breaking news today. The Iraqi government authorized Russia to strike the Islamic State inside the country. Why did Iraq just turn its back on the United States? The United States has spent $6 trillion overthrowing that government, setting up that new government, rebuilding the complete country with your money. U.S. taxpayers are going to spend $6 trillion on that country, and that country has just turned its back against the United States. So we're going to get into why they did it in just a little bit, but this is a huge loss geopolitically for the United States when it comes to their foothold in the Middle East. Their main ally, their main asset, just completely disrespected them in front of the whole world. Now it gets worse for the United States. As we know, the United States was training secretly under the CIA Syrian rebels to fight against Assad. They were doing this in Jordan. The United States has abandoned this program. Today, Jordan has announced that they're going to be coordinating, working with Russia, and joining their intelligence pact with Iraq, Iran, Syria, Russia, and now Jordan are sharing intelligence to defeat ISIS together. Why is Jordan, a U.S. ally, also joining the Russians when it comes to fighting ISIS and turning its back against the United States? Well, tensions have been heating up in this region, and you see a clear alliance between Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Israel, and the United States that have been funding radical Islamic terrorists to get rid of Assad. Right now, we have Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Syria, Russia, which is being backed also by the Chinese, making a stand against these Islamic extremists and supporting Assad in this region. Tensions have been fueling in this region. As you could see, a latest Lou Dobbs report is reporting how Russian submarines are acting aggressively near undersea cables that the U.S. conducts its communications through. Some people are speculating that the Russians want to hack into them. Some people are saying that the Russians are threatening to even cut off those undersea communication cables to the United States. But why is Russia acting so aggressively against the United States? If you look at their campaign in Syria, you could see that they're making amazing headway against ISIS soldiers by destroying all of their heavy weapons and their ammunition dumps. Now, intercepted communications from ISIS show that commanders are saying that they're going to retreat unless they have more ammunition. The United States responded by sending 50 tons of ammunition to so-called rebel groups. What you're not hearing in the mainstream media is how these rebel groups are actually ISIS and al-Nusra. And there's actual video footage of ISIS soldiers having U.S. weapons being resupplied by the United States. This is why the Iraqi government has turned its back against the United States. This is why Jordan is joining Russia against the fight against ISIS. And we have Saudi Arabia as well, which has been in the news a lot lately. Their prince has been arrested with 2 tons of drugs that ISIS fighters use. They're going to run out of cash in 5 years because they weren't able to get that secret oil pipeline from Saudi Arabia to Europe and bypassing Russia because of Bashar al-Assad in Syria. They're going to execute a pro-democracy protester. And the United States has been selling them arms. And with that arms, Saudi Arabia is sending more heavy weapons into Syria, into the hands of ISIS. And this is why the United States has just lost its foothold within the Middle East. And if it wasn't shocking enough, news just came out that another Doctors Without Borders hospital was bombed in Yemen, this time by our greatest ally in the region, Saudi Arabia. $6 trillion was spent of your money to have Iraq as our main ally in the region. That money has just been blown away in a matter of instances because the United States keeps supporting and arming ISIS fighters, and that's why they just lost their foothold in the Middle East and their greatest allies. This should be headline news all over the world, and the only reason this truth is getting out there is because of you watching, sharing, donating, supporting real independent media, and getting this information out there to the entire world, because if you don't, no one else will. Thank you again so much for watching, and check out wearechange.org for more breaking news.